question to a lot of guests before. Do you think that we as a species, that we are awakening, that there is this collective global consciousness where people are starting to think, you know what, there's something really wrong with the way civilization and this planet has been set forth for the last couple of thousands of years, and we need to try and readdress this and get a balance back. Do you see that, or do you disagree?
Yeah, I think if you've ever been out drinking and smoking and partying real late at night and you got to get up in the morning real early, it's kind of like that. I feel like it's like we've woken up, but we're just so beat down from our history, so beat down from what this country's done to us for decades and decades and decades, that it's kind of hard to get up off the ground and shake it off. I think we are awake, though. I think we're like feeling it. We're seeing it. It's a heavy burden to some. Some people just want to go back to sleep. It's kind of like a rude awakening. It's like someone threw ice water on you while you were asleep. And how do you get up and move? It's hard. I think I've been talking about this for a long time about, we have to re-educate ourselves, and we have to start these conversations and give each other that social support, that camaraderie. But it's hard to find that when you've got your bills and your life and your reality, your children, your parents, your family, whatever, your responsibilities that you're dealing with. It's really hard to focus on this stuff. And more than ever, it's just so important now. And it's so important that people also start to realize that revolution is not just taking a Molotov cocktail and burning down your presidential palace. It's also changing what you spend your money on, what you want to spend your money on, and what money means.
Exactly.
Like, is money your God, or is it just a screwdriver and a hammer? Do you need to rebuild your house, or do you want to, do you think this is going to take you to heaven? Like, I don't know, but we need to ask those questions to ourselves more often and really think about, like, what is value to us? What do we value? We're insane. We're totally insane right now.
Yeah.
So I've got... Sorry, I cut you off there.
Oh, no, go for it.
I was just going to ask you then, very cliche question, but it's got to be asked then. So with that being said, do you think we're ever going to succeed in this revolution then, of the mind and the and in the spiritual as well? Do you think we're going to succeed, or that sadly, because these forces have been in play for so long, and as you said, we're so downbeaten, do you think we're kind of resigned to this fate? How do you see things going in the future?
I think it's really hard to see into the future and make a decision. So many of us, we're 7 billion strong, and so to make for anyone to picture where we're going to be is really a far cry. It's like there's too many of us right now, and I really think that it's bigger than us. Not to get too way out there, but the planet Earth is not the only planet in our solar system going through changes right now. Science and NASA shows that all of our other planets are going through physical transformations too. And so I'd like to think that no matter how evil and how powerful the matrix system is, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call it, the 1%, these billionaire motherfuckers, whoever they are, as David Icke calls them, the reptilians.
Yeah.
England, that old true, whatever it is, that there's something way more powerful that we're all connected to, and we're meant to go through this right now. We're learning something. Whether whoever thinks they're in control, they're tripping. They're a puppet too. And I'd like to think of it that way. So when it's time for our whole species to experience something different, we will. But in the meantime, I think it's up to us to consciously work towards the directions we want to go in, because we do have a connection and a relationship to the outcome. Reality is just a projection of our mind. A lot of these great new scientific theories are literally breaking down and proving to us that the entire universe is nothing more than an organization of particles, and it requires a mind to perceive them. So without a mind or without consciousness, it's just a bunch of particles. So really, our whole world is just how we see it. And we could change that whenever we're really ready. But that's really heavy, you know, to think about. And most people would think I'm fucking crazy.
No, not us.
No.
But I that's how I see the universe and life and, you know, what's going on here.
I mean, you brought up a lot of things there, and I would like to like touch on all of them, but there's only so much time. So like with the recent developments,
Welcome to one challenge.
yeah, exactly. How can he describe every part of the universe in a sentence? You know what I mean? And how do you respond to that?
Yeah.
Okay, so with the recent developments of like the findings of water on other moons in our system, and you know the possibilities that has for other planets, like, and you paint all sorts of like, you know, multiversal, universal stuff in your graphs. Like, what are your thoughts on alien life?
Man, we're swimming through it. You know, the ancients used to call the universe a giant ocean. And right now they're finding plankton growing on the outside of the International Space Center up there, whatever satellite, excuse me, the ISS. So, you know, and how pathetic are we as a human race to look through a tube with glass at one end and the other end, or a big trash can lid hooked up to a bunch of electricity beaming radio waves out in the universe, and thinking that we can break this shit down, that from this little, you know, inconceivable, irrelevant little speck in such a broad view that we can figure it out from here. I think that's really the human ego gone completely insane. We need to learn how to plug into it, you know?
Absolutely. And like you also paint Egypt, you know, like Horus holding a boombox and other, you know, ancient references. So like, do you see a connection? What's that?
Yeah, bring the noise, man. You know,
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, I'm just so fascinated with the ancient world. And yeah, you know, when I'm painting Horus with the boombox, I'm just using modern day mythology to explain ancient mythology. Yeah. Literally, it's bring the noise, you know, and the noise is the new revolution. The new revolution is the new consciousness. Wake up to it. There's change occurring, and it happened before. They left us evidence of it. The whole planet was buried in mud. What the hell happened? You know, we're obviously, the whole planet was once connected under a very global system, because we find the same iconography, we find the same structures and methods of structures built throughout the whole world, and we find universal language out there, which I find incredible, which is geometry. The symbolism of what math, you know, math is a number just like our language or letters. But when you extract the numbers and letters and you get down to the meaning, that's where the symbol comes in. And the symbol is the universal language. It's mathematical, it's geometrical. And, you know, I can tell you a story and you guys can both interpret it different ways. But when we talk about this mathematical symbolism, it's universal. We know exactly what it is. And I think that the ancient world was connected that way. And that's the splitting of the tongues that the Bible talks about in ancient Babylon. It's the complication. Yeah, you know, it's the complication of our international relationship with each other right now. What's going on with different people? We have a language barrier. No matter if we have interpreters or not, the translation doesn't cut it. And it gets cultural suddenly. And then the cultural translation doesn't cut it. And it just continues to break down to a division. And we need to get away from the division and get back into the addition and the conjoining of our humanity. You know, we're all red, bleeding, organic, functioning silly little creatures running around here. We need to help each other, so if something comes and eats us.
Right. Survival of the fittest.
You know?
So it's
that
definitely.
Shit is, hey man, the struggle is real.
Yeah.
That's awesome.